In the ideal world, you should come in pre-starting something new, like running. But in the real world, where everybody has busy lives, the natural thing that happens is that you just go, you feel the urge to go for the run, you've organised it within your calendar, and you're like, I'm going running Tuesday, out the door you go. That works out well, you'll say, I'll go again on Friday. That works out well, you keep going. And it's not really until you feel a niggle, maybe in your calf muscle or along your outer side of your thigh, that you might be thinking, oh, what's happening here in my body? Then you start to look to see, where would I go for help? So that's where we come in. We're a chartered physiotherapy clinic here in Portlaoise, and you would come to our premises and we would talk you through how the injury happened, why it happened, and how to prevent it happening again. A chartered physiotherapy would be an expert in the area of treating sports injuries. So we would check your medical history, assess you fully from head to toe, work out any biomechanical problems that may be giving you issues, look at whether you have any background medical conditions that were affecting your ability to run. But we would be at a high level in the medical field as regards treating injuries. So we would often see the injuries that have gone from that very early acute stage into something that maybe gone a little bit more chronic. So it's absolutely essential then that you come in and get the expert advice, because your body will start to adapt when you have an injury that's been niggling at you for a long period of time. Now that long period of time might only be 6 weeks, but within that 6 weeks, often it could be 3 months before somebody might decide to come in for physiotherapy. Now ideally, the earlier we see it, the better the outcome, but you know, in the real world, when running is our hobby rather than about to compete for the Olympics, we don't see it as a priority. So when you come in with, let's say, that chronic injury of your calf muscle, your body probably already has started to adapt within other parts of the body. So the injury may be a bit of discomfort around your calf muscle, but when we assess you, we may point out that your knee joint might be your knee might be rolling in a little bit, your hip joint might be rolling in a little bit, that you have created changes to compensate for that calf strain. So it's very important that they're corrected early. The 3 exercises that I was talking about are simply to help prevent some of the common injuries that occur during running. So one of the common injuries would be around your foot and ankle, injuring your Achilles tendon and shin splints. Another injury would be up along the outer side of your thigh, your iliotibial band. And another injury, the IT band, that's right, Bob, your IT band. And then another injury, which is underreported and can often be associated with back pain, is a small little muscle in your hip that rotates your hip out. It's called your piriformis. So those 3 muscle groups are essential to stretch before and after you're running. Now, I appreciate everyone is busy. You could stretch 10 to 15 different muscle groups, but these are the 3 key muscle groups that will definitely help prevent injuries arising. The one exercise I would do would be one simply for the calf muscle, supporting the back of a chair. I would also add one for the outer side of the thigh and the hip too, because they all need to be stretched. You cannot stretch one muscle group in the lower limb in isolation, unfortunately. So a squat really works a large amount of muscle groups within the lower limb. It's a very effective single exercise. So in running, you can as a home exercise, you can squat with 2 legs, or you can do a single leg squat. You would be building up the amount of repetitions and the speed that you would do it, so that you'd build up your endurance. So strength, and particularly lower limb and core strength flexibility, are very important when you're going forward to endurance running. So it's very important that you have that extra little bit of strength for your endurance running. One, you stretch with your leg out straight. So with this, very important your feet are hip width apart, your top part of your body is nice and relaxed, you're not turning your foot outwards, your toes are pointing forward, your right hip is going forward if you're stretching your right foot. And the main tip with this exercise is simply to imagine that you're squashing something underneath your heel. So imagine you're squashing a grape underneath your heel, you're pushing that weight back into the foot rather than leaning forward. So that's exercise number 1. Exercise number 2, you bring your foot in so that your toes are in line with your heel. This is stretching that deep layer of calf muscles, so we're bending both knees. Very important you keep the knees apart. It's very important you relax the top part of the body, and then you lean forward slightly until you feel a stretch right down almost towards your Achilles, the back part of your heel. And you hold each stretch for 10 seconds, 10 times, and then let yourself relax. They're the 2 for the calf muscle. The next stretch then, you're sitting in the office and you're remembering the bit of discomfort that you felt in your back. Place your left or right ankle on top of your left knee. And then the most important tip with this is that you imagine that you're coming upwards an inch taller, and then you're leaning forward. So you're not curling the top part of the body, you're leaning forward, you're putting a bit of pressure through your knee, and then you should feel a strong stretch on the outer border of the hip. Very good. And then the last stretch is for that IT band on the outer side of the thigh. You're just imagining that you're picking a piece of paper up off the ground, you're letting your hand resting on the back part of the chair, you lift your right arm right up to the ceiling, and then you lean all the way over towards the opposite side, staying as tall as you can, reaching through the middle finger, tucking the tailbone under, good, and then straighten the arm back up to the ceiling, and then letting the arm rest down by your side, and you get a lovely stretch along the outside border of the body where you end up with a lot of tightness in your IT band.
That's kilometre 1. Feeling good?
Did your supinator land on the outside? I know you said it was your left knee that can give you a bit of problem.
You're just buying these things. We only came here to get the gait analysis.
Like people, my kids have been in a really serious